am fucking activated, I am lit up, and I am ready to go. I know exactly what I want to talk about. Today I want to talk to you about the genius of Lady Gaga. What I'm learning about content creation. Lady Gaga is an interesting character. I think she's a Zen master. People just don't realize it. But first, I want to go off a tangent because somebody told me that if you want your videos to be successful, you have to ramble in the hook. Just kidding. Just kidding. Do not do that. That's just me. I would never recommend that to my clients. I saw somebody once post something on LinkedIn. It cracked me up. He said, content strategy for my clients. Step 1, content buckets. Step 2, brainstorm ideas. Step 3, write. Step 4, edit. Step 5, record. And then content strategy for me. What do I want to talk about today? Miss Lady Gaga, Mrs. I don't know what her status is, but Queen, Your Excellence, Lady Gaga, was in an interview and she said, you have to play for the arena like it's a dive bar and you have to play for the dive bar like it's an arena. And I knew I had to pay attention to that. I was like, let's take that nugget. Let's try to crack that nugget up. And it got me thinking about how truly when you only access dive bars, which let's be real, like creators like me, we are the dive bar kind of creators. We're not in the arena yet. We are creating for the people that understand what we're doing. You know, it's like that hole in a wall and there's that band or that musician that makes really weird stuff. And it's not for the masses and not everybody believes in it. Not everybody even heard of it, but the people who have, they love it. That's it. They love it. Which is a great place to be, but if you're Lady Gaga, you want so much more than the dive bar. Okay, that's fun. But how Lady Gaga actually ended up going into arenas is that she played for the dive bars like they were arenas. And I noticed something about the creators that I love and I admire, and that is they really show up. And you can see that they really showed up when nobody was showing up. I love seeing people do things they care about precisely for this reason. There is a certain energy you notice about somebody who cares, who gives a shit, that cannot be replicated. But what makes somebody truly special is when they give a shit, and they give a shit consistently enough over a long period of time that they get undeniable. They get so fucking good that people who weren't paying attention start to pay attention. And this is what I've always admired about someone like Lady Gaga. She really showed up in her early days. And this applies to everyone doing just about anything. You know, I talk about creators like just content creators, but we as a species are all creators, regardless. Whether or not you create content and put it on social media, it's our nature to be creators. So this goes beyond so much more than what you create for business or for content. This goes beyond even what you create with your own hands, because any action, I would argue even every conscious thought, is a creation. Allowing a thought to exist within you is a creation. Speaking it especially, translating that thought into words brings it to the physical world. You are creating every single day. The question is, are you conscious of it or not? And a creator who gives a shit is special to me. This is why I only work with people who create from the heart, because I am only activated when somebody cares. I am only interested if I can sense that this thing has been created from a sense of love. I literally can't make myself create strategies or design anything or build anything or strategize anything or ideate or do anything for a client or for a business if I don't feel aligned with the business. If I were to try to push through, my energy just basically just goes away. I just can't do it. Believe me, I spent a whole lifetime trying. It's not a matter of discipline or whatever. It's like something magical happens when I care. When the other person cares, it's like 1 + 1 = 3, not just 2. It's when ideas are resonant. When ideas are resonant, it just clicks, it just works. But if you can find the thing that you care about in what you create, the real purpose behind it, the meaning, the thing that makes you feel alive beyond just it feels good to do this, or I'm good at it, or I enjoy this task, but rather for the love of the game itself, I am willing to sit with the resistance. I am willing to sit with the pain of discomfort. I am willing and blissfully willing, not willing where I'm willing, but it's like I'll fucking do it. Nor is it I'll do it because I need to say that I'll do it, because I need to say that I've tried. Because the truth is, how we show up is what makes it work. It's not what we do, it's how we show up while we're doing it that makes it work or not work. Two people doing something is not the same. I've seen this in the businesses that I worked with and the clients that I worked with over and over and over and over. I'm not talking about this one because the work that I'm doing right now, I purely 100% do not work with anybody who is not creating from the heart. And luckily, people who are not creating from the heart are not attracted to my kind of work. So it works out great. But I'm talking in the past when I wasn't showing up in my heart, I was working with clients who were like 50-50. And it was like clients that I felt aligned with, the ones where I saw that they cared. And I can understand the meaning behind their business. I get it. And I care about it. Like, we were showing up completely differently. And because we were showing up differently, the results were insanely better than the results we were getting when we were just going through the motions of doing the right thing without the life force behind it, the energy behind it, the thing behind it that's like, I dare the universe to stand in my fucking way. Like, that kind of, we're doing it. We're doing it. Like, we are in it to do it. We are in it to do the action of pursuing the thing that we desire because there is no other way. This is it. This like level of clarity and conviction and alignment that is just out of this fucking world, that you can only get when you are deeply embodying the thing that you are selling, the thing that you are creating, the thing that you are speaking about, the thing that you are co-creating with. You have to really, it has to be in full integrity and alignment. Like, you have to become it, the fucking thing itself. You have to become it in the process of doing it. Otherwise, it's always going to feel weird and clunky and awkward, like you're trying to put on a hat or a mask to try to deliver something. Anyway, in that misalignment, I had no energy to do anything at all. And on the completely flip side, in the complete alignment, in the clarity of behind why I cared about those things, in my excitement about the thing, in my understanding of the deeper meaning and purpose behind what I was doing and owning it and truly giving a shit and caring, the result is completely the same. I'll give you an example that is more practical. Let's say two people are creating a video to promote themselves, right? Like, let's say I'm just giving two people this task of go create a video to promote yourself. One person is showing up and giving it their all. Like, they are showing up with full belief. They really have owned their message. They have done the inner work. They've worked on their communication. They've owned the why. They understand what they're fucking doing. Even if they have no idea what they're doing, they feel like they know what they're doing because they believe in themselves on a level that's like, I'll make it work. It's me, and because it's me, it doesn't matter what happens. I trust in myself that I'm able to work through anything that I face. And their communication is on point, etc., etc. They have all of these skills, these meta skills that nobody pays attention to because you don't see tangible results. Usually, like, the ROI is not very direct. It's not as satisfying as learning how to do fucking Facebook ads. You take this person versus a person who is, haven't done any of the work, doesn't believe in what they talk about. They could be doing the same exact thing, saying the same fucking thing. Both of them creating videos, both of them promoting themselves. They're using the same strategies, they're doing the same things, but because one person is showing up at a certain level and another person is showing up at a different level, their performance is not going to be the same. So, and the result is not going to be the same. And so I think spiritual people, a lot of times, people in spiritual communities kind of overcomplicate this part where they talk about energy and make it sound so woo-woo and so crazy. It's like, it's not very fucking hard to understand. It's not very complicated. They're who you're being, how you're doing it, your skill set makes or breaks the fucking thing. It's not just skill set. It's like how you're showing up. And the power and the juice you put behind the thing, like how you're showing, just your body language, just how much you care about the thing. And now let's take it to another level and say you really cared about this particular creation. It mattered to you. Now you put your effort into creating something really good. Now not only you have the skill, but you are actually making the right choices. So not only are you good, but you're doing the right thing. You don't just know what to do, you actually do it. Which is, by the way, a whole another game to play here, because you could be having great communication skills. You've learned how to write really good copy, for example. I don't know, you could learn how to communicate on video, but then you just don't do it because you don't, because you know, the voice is in your head and you don't know how to sit with that discomfort. You don't know how to care for your emotions. And entrepreneurship, life in general, can be such a freaking roller coaster, but especially if you're going to be building in public, like building a brand or sharing your ideas or thoughts, or anywhere where you're showing up and being visible. And not only you have to go out there and do stuff, but you have to do stuff while people are looking at you. You need to do some inner work. Please just believe this one part. Like, make sure to take care of yourself before you go out there and do this kind of stuff. Not saying like discouraging you from showing up. I'm saying make sure that you have some tools to know how to offer yourself the comfort, the emotional nurturing you're going to need, so that you're not going out there and expecting it from other people, because that's not going to be very pretty. So Lady Gaga, I don't know, I feel like I went around the world with this conversation and back. Lady Gaga showed up like to the dive bars like she's showing up to the Super Bowl, or like to the arenas. Like she showed up fully. She gave her best. And if you are creating and you care about the thing, you show up and you do your best. And when you show up with that kind of energy, the more energy you put into the thing, the more effort, and not effort isn't like hard work, but effort, genuine intention, energy, the more you put into it, the more the thing itself, you're gonna show up for it better. And guess what? Other people look at it and go, oh, this person looks like they're bringing their A game, and they're really taking this stuff seriously. They're showing up for this thing. This must be important. This person is showing up, and they're showing up for the thing. This thing must be really important. This thing must be valuable. This thing must be worth it. If you make a video, but you've spent time, energy, and all of that thinking about what's going to be in the content, processing your ideas, expanding them, organizing your thoughts, researching, talking to people, trying to create something that's genuinely helpful, and then trying your best from wherever you are, whatever skill set level you have, trying your best to present the best that you got. You know, some people will tell you, is this really the best use of your time? Just focus on distribution. Just spend 20% of your time creating the content and 80% distributing it. Maybe we have different priorities. Maybe we have different goals. I am just as interested in my full self-expression as I am in making money, both at the same time. Both are important to me. But when you show up for it like that, you will put in even more effort into promoting it, believing in it. Again, your energy is going to be completely different. I saw this in 2023 when I started really investing into my ideas and taking my ideas seriously. Before that, I always thought my thoughts didn't make any sense. People weren't going to get them. Nobody is going to understand. Nobody is going to whatever, you know. So I didn't. And then I realized, well, I didn't start this journey to just create content that performs. I started this because I wanted to bring my full self-expression. So I decided I was going to do it my way and figure out how to make it work. And because I invested more time and energy into the content, even though I was doing it differently, it was still working. Even though I was doing it my way, it was still working. People were reaching out that were interested, even though I wasn't doing 99% of the things that experts were saying you needed to do whenever you create a content. I was breaking all the rules. I was breaking all the marketing rules, all the social media rules, but just doing all the sins, essentially. But I was willing to test out what works for me and then figure out how to make that work. And that eventually worked. And why did I do that? Because I actually invested more time and energy into those videos. So I wasn't making a lot of content. But whenever I did, I tried my best to make it something I was proud of. Because I was proud of it, I was willing to promote it more. And my energy behind it was bigger. My energy behind it was more. It was more effortless for me to believe in it and to show up boldly with that. Am I telling you to create less? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is give a shit. And if you don't, figure out what is it that you do give a shit about. What do you care about? And why do you care about it? And talk about that. Don't stay paralyzed too long. It's gonna happen. You're gonna be paralyzed sometimes. That's okay. Just don't be in your own head for too long. At some point you need to get out and go into the real world and test your ideas out. By the way, if you're curious about the other part of what Lady Gaga said, which is play for the dive bar like you're playing the arena and play the arena like you're playing the dive bar. I think she was talking about authenticity for the second part, that you show with the same level of connectedness and closeness and authenticity when you have the Super Bowl, when you are in that place. I do think that both are important at both times. I just think that when creators are at this level where they're just starting out and they're like the first few years of creating and they don't have a million followers yet, again, there's the feeling, the belief that it doesn't matter. What you do doesn't matter. In the beginning, you think it matters a lot and you get paralyzed and you don't create because you think the world is going to be watching you and judging you. And then you create and realize, oh, nobody cares. Great. That's such a relief. I can do whatever the heck I want. Like, very few people are going to follow. And then slowly you start getting some momentum and you start getting clients and you start getting things and things start working out for you. And then you kind of feel like you need to do something different with your content, with your creativity. You want to push things out of the comfort zone a little bit. So you go out there and you venture, you try different things, and you keep discovering your voice and your style and all of those things. But as you know, there is a moment where you start to get complacent a little bit and start to get cozy and comfortable and like, okay, but how do I take this to the next level? And then you go back to the same fucking place, of being stuck in your own head, like just. Yeah, it's like, why can't I be this amazing, perfect human being who's got it all figured out and just kind of just live happily ever after? But I'm legitimately frustrated about not being that being. Like, that's what frustrates me more than anything. It's like, I know every time it's about the leveling up who we are, and I'm aware of where my shortcomings are. I'm aware of where the work needs to be done, and I'm like, I guess it's tiring. I just want to be fucking perfect and lovely and amazing and free of fault and just fucking perfection on earth. Living a perfect life, a happily ever after life that is perfect, free of any struggle. And the more I try to avoid the struggle, the more struggle I face. This has been the lesson of my life. The more struggle you try to avoid, the more struggle you get yourself into, and then eventually you still have to struggle in order to get out of the fucking struggle. Mind fuck. And right now, the struggle I'm trying to avoid is focus. So what is this face? Side question, do you ever look at yourself and feel like, that's me? Wow. Wow, such person, such observation. Congratulations, you have derealization. It rhymes. I wish I could get paid to muse. I wish I could get paid to just fucking blabber. Every time I try to make videos, this is the struggle I have. I sincerely, okay, jokes aside and everything, the struggle with focus is real for me. It's not a matter of go train yourself. I have something. I don't want to talk about my life too much, but there's a reason why I struggle. I've always struggled with focus. Every job I had, every business I built, every project I started. Why did we get cats? I have focus issues. So I have this thing where my memory is very strange. And the way my brain works is very strange. I think I didn't need to tell you that. If you've seen 2 videos by me, you'll probably already figured this out, but my brain just kind of works all over the place. And then also my memory works in very interesting ways where things just kind of disappear, but then some other things really stay in my memory. So anyway, focus and distraction has always been a pain point in my life, and I found ways around it. At first, the first layer was removing distractions. Then I realized that removing distractions didn't work completely because you could remove all your physical distractions, the inner distractions are always going to be there. So I started working through the things, the internal things that were coming up, and while coping, learning to cope with it. Then I realized there were other reasons why, physical and mental reasons why I was having these things. So I accepted those things and I just found ways to work around them. And for me, it's like every time I try to make a video, I am reminded how hard it is for me. It's one of those tasks that forces me to sit with the reality of how my brain works, and it's painful. Even though, honestly, I've learned to love it, I've learned to accept it, I've learned to work with it, I've learned to not just accept it, I've learned to love it. I've learned to lean on the beautiful things that come with that. Like the flip side of that is that there's nothing probably that I couldn't come up with a solution for. I just have an insane, infinite amount of ideas that come like this all the time. Sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming. And I've learned to lean on my feelings because they help me kind of get a read in a fraction of a second. I also know what else is really good at, like empathy and really understanding what people need and just being able to help people spark into like some sort of action. That seems to be the thing that people most often tell me that I help them do, is just people will feel different around me and in a way that makes them want to go and do stuff, the stuff that they've been thinking about for like 6 years, they'll just finally do it. Because I just help them kind of open up to a different way of looking at things. Beautiful gifts. Amazing. Awesome. Love it. Very grateful for it. Would not have it any other way. But when I am especially speaking to a fucking camera, it is impossible because it's kind of like I'm thinking out loud. Also because I don't want to script my videos. Those videos, this kind of video that I make is really just sharing what's actually really truly happening here with zero agenda. I have no fucking agenda, okay? I try to make content marketing or marketing content for the purpose of marketing, which I know exactly how to do, and somehow 9 times out of 10 I get myself distracted into a more authentic share, even when I don't want to. It's so fucking hard to stick to the fucking topic when I'm speaking, because it's like my mind just goes, let me express myself. I know this. And I'm frustrated because I thought I again fell for the same trap that I always fall into, thinking there's going to be happily ever after, where the growth is done, I'm done, everything's done, and I've arrived. And then I realize there's always more. And right now my more is focus. And I'm playing with fire too. Like I have a workshop coming up on the 23rd and I call it the Stone Shop. Basically I'm going to do a marketing workshop while stoned. Just to prove that marketing can be so simple that even a stoned woman can explain it. But it also is pushing my own buttons in some ways because I have issues. Like, it's not very helpful for focus. And it's not very helpful for memory. So that is going to be adding to the challenge. But I thought it would be fun because I tend to look ridiculous when I do it. I tend to sound ridiculous. And so it'd be great. It'd be great to kind of help other people loosen up a little bit and hopefully enjoy the whole experience. That is March 23rd at 9 a.m. Central. Last time I said 11 a.m. Central, but then I realized actually 9 a.m. Central, so apologies. I will put a link wherever you're watching this. Hopefully you can make it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.